Well, thanks for being here with us at the Weather Network. It's time to feature you on TV. We're wrapping up the weekend, getting into our weather selfie. I also have some great photos to show you as well. All right, let's get into our video weather selfie. Here's Andrew Page in Niagara Falls. Oh, the tomato plants remind me of my grandmother's garden. My favorite sandwich in the summer, steak tomato, a little bit of mayonnaise, salt and pepper. So good. Okay, Andrew, the tomato plants aren't doing so well because we haven't had enough rain. We are way below the average throughout southern Ontario and the humidity as well. But things are going to change. This is the next 7 days for Niagara Falls, and you can see here the rain starts to move throughout the overnight, a pretty good soaking of rain, and then the thunderstorm risk still stays in place throughout the next 3 days. So we're going to closely watch that, and then temperatures, boy, they are going to be nice and hot. Look at the Humidex, feels like 33 on Tuesday. All right, if you would like to send us a video and be a part of our weather selfie, you can do just that. Use the hashtag weather selfie if you're doing it on Twitter. Okay, you sent me some amazing photos of your weekend. Have a look at this. Christian sends in this one, sunset last night from St. Mary's, Ontario. Beautiful shot here. This is Mahogany Lake in Calgary from Yvonne. I love those buds there. This here is a gorgeous weekend in Fort Frances, Ontario. Perfect still water there. Beautiful shot by Karen. I'll also show you these two very happy guys. This picture comes to us from Stratford. Jean says, I think this photo says it all. Yeah, felt like summer this weekend, didn't it? Beautiful picture here. And lastly, Susan sends us simply beautiful. This is Larder Lake, Ontario. A lot of these photos from Ontario. It was a pretty good weekend, right? So the rain that's moving in through the overnight, no one's complaining about that. Like Andrew said, the tomatoes, they need it, right? So this is what the rain is looking like. Some of the most active weather this week is going to be for Ontario, moving east out into the Atlantic. Rain moves throughout the overnight. We're going to see it come in a few waves. And as we look at some of the numbers here, the darker greens, that's about 30 millimeters of rain, so we'll keep a close eye on this. Now, before we go, what do you think this is? This is actually a pothole. Yeah, pothole art. You have to head to theweathernetwork.com to check out this story. And right now, here's the science behind potholes. We're about to show you the Long Ranger with Chris St. Clair. That airs in just a minute, but first, Monday morning, right across the country, you can see where some of the unsettled weather is moving into Ontario through Quebec, and also thunderstorms in the forecast throughout the interior of British Columbia. In terms of some of those temperatures, it is going to be hot, sticky, and humid throughout eastern portions of our country throughout this week. We could see some Humidex values into the low 30s, so certainly feeling like summer. As we look at some of the precipitation, some of the models moving through, this low here is going to bring widespread rains basically from the Great Lakes all the way into Atlantic Canada. Another wave of that moves through Wednesday and through Thursday. High pressure dominates across the prairies here, and then that risk of seeing thunderstorms, that's going to linger in the forecast throughout BC for much of this week, as we do have an upper level low in place. Now, as we focus in on the rain for Ontario, it really is going to be unsettled, and also watch out for the humidity as well. Now, here's a national look at our Long Ranger with Chris. We'll start off with this. This is where you want to spend the weekend. Rock Harbor, Newfoundland. Beautiful conditions on Sunday. Even into Monday, things are looking pretty good. A high of 14 degrees. Sunshine still in the forecast. And right now, we're going to take a look across the country. Some of the morning highs as we look at Monday. So this is how warm you should be throughout the morning hours. 16 for Toronto, 16 in Winnipeg. You can see these places are really going to heat up throughout the day. 18 degrees in Regina. We're still watching for those thunderstorms as well throughout the BC interior. We saw a lot of activity throughout the weekend. Now Monday, these are some of the systems that are coming into play. So this low here is going to move into Ontario, and this is where we're going to really get into some of those rain showers. But we'll focus in on BC and have a look at the thunderstorm risk. So we're not seeing any severe risks into Monday, but non-severe, that's pretty widespread throughout the province, even up in through northern Alberta as well. We will see some of those rain showers throughout the northern prairies, as we do have a descending low here. And this is what Vancouver's looking like over the next 7 days. Monday is going to be your wettest day, but look at this. Wow, a lot of sunshine coming into the forecast. Temperatures just nice above 20 degrees. Calgary, same sort of thing. A little bit more unsettled. Tuesday is going to be your greatest risk of seeing some thunderstorms in your forecast. And then Winnipeg, a pretty great 7 day here. Almost feeling like 30 degrees in some places. Now, have you ever thought of making your own cleaning products? Here's Deb with more. Hello, I'm here to get you through the overnight. I'm Rachel Schoutsen, and let's recap Sunday. It was a beautiful day for many people across the country. Really warm temperatures throughout southern Ontario into southern Quebec. We saw those thunderstorms as well throughout the interior of BC. Those will continue to taper off throughout the overnight. And then as we look ahead here and go into Monday, well, the temperatures are still going to stay very nice. Look at this forecast here. When those oranges come into play, look at this right through until Wednesday. That's when it's really starting to feel like summer. And I know you in Atlanta, Canada, you're keeping a close eye on this because, yeah, the warm-up is finally going to come. Now, when we talk about the thunderstorm risk, it's still going to remain in place throughout Monday for BC, especially for the interior, stretching over as well into the Alberta elbow, and then also throughout northern Alberta, we still have the risk to see something like this. Have a look, 100 Mile House, BC. Listen to that downpour. You can see little bits of hail as well bouncing in some of those puddles. Now, when we talk about some of this convective activity, we have an upper level low, so that creates some instability. We also have another low just down in towards Washington making its way north, so a lot of activity creating some instability in the atmosphere here. And then also look at this huge ridge in the jet stream. Essentially, that's just allowing a lot of warm air to head far to the north, even all the way up into the Yukon, where they're seeing some record-breaking temperatures. When we look over to the east, this is not a rainfall forecast here. This just shows you the humidity in the atmosphere. And notice this here. This is the Bermuda High. When we have high pressure in place, the air around that is circulating clockwise. So essentially, when it makes its way up here, it's allowing even more humidity to be pushed up into our backyard, into Ontario, into Quebec. So it's going to be hot, it's going to be sticky, and it's going to be rainy as well. Look at all of this coming into play. We're really looking at an unsettled pattern throughout the beginning of this week. Now, when it rains and when it's humid, if you're like me, your hair doesn't look so good. Here's the science behind a bad hair day.